seeing him journey from a place that a lot of my brothers, I myself, I don't point fingers. My name is Jamal. Just Allah.
Can you just
Master, quality, love, love.
Recording.
Hello,
Yes.
I'm watching.
like they say, New York. And so doing, the name stands for justice. And the justice that I stand for is not a justice that is judgmental. It's not self-centered. It's not egotistic. It's divinely objective, and it comes from the truth. The power of power will give you justice. I just left that again. The high quality citizen of this month, I came into another physical degree, which is power equality. So my power is now equal. So the justice that was invested in people, because justice was invested in me. I didn't just come along and accept justice. Justice was invested in me. The justice that was invested in me is now word being bond, bond being life. It's important for us to sit here and know that. See, my man just came in, he wasn't here earlier, he just walked in and all praise to you. But whatever was said earlier that was not able to be taped, it's not a big thing for it. We tend to be repetitious. So I'm sure some of it. The context of where I'm trying to go is this. You see here today, we are discussing issues and conditions and attitudes and behaviors that have been a part of our activity for a number of years. Again, I'm not here to be judged. I want to say outright and up front that the issue at hand is bigger than Al-Jamar and it's bigger than freedom. Bigger than y'all. And I can look on either side and you know, if it was about throwing stones, then you know what I'm saying? Have nothing to be stoned about or asked. Go with first stones. Again, I go back to a teaching that was given me early in my upbringing. It was given to me by an older brother, that was Rajesh. And I always share it because I feel it's important to pass on things that was given to us. And Rajesh always used to say, good, bad, or indifference, all we got to change. Now when Rajesh said that, he wasn't saying that to say that if a brother do wrong, you know, it's sanctioned.
So rude.
To my degree of clarity, and the clarity has come over a period of time. So I always say all praise to Allah, because see, I know in my heart that if it wasn't for the teaching of Allah, I would not have the time that I have today on this planet. My life would have been short. My life would have been short for whatever reason. See, I have to share with you that I've come from a lifestyle that was very destructive. Very destructive. The brother spoke about something, I want to touch this real quick with that. They tend to say what Allah used to. And Allah used for the brothers that Allah in his heart, way back then, knew that would come up like that. He used to tell them, do as I say, not as I do. word is bond, and bond is life. Okay? So we clarify that issue right here, right now. You have to, we have to know and understand that when that man, Allah, made his appearance to render unto us what he felt were vital educational tunings and teachings. He was doing it from a reality that only he, Allah, could have comprehended. I mean, let's not BS ourselves. This was a man living in a man's world and under some very, very cold-hearted conditions. Let me say this. Brother spoke about discipline. Allah. See, I always, it's hard for me to speak in terms of Allah, and you spoke last time we was here about the view. The view. See, Allah, the mind, you said that. The essence of all things in life is Allah. All praise for every due God. And we tend to take on these vehicles along our travels into this known world. Just like Napoleon and all them guys, they have to get on the ships in order to sail the seven seas and journey into their exploration and their discovery. So it's the same thing with the mind. So when I try to equate mind and body, it's kind of like, it's not an easy road because I don't want to get misled or misguided. So what I'm going to say is that even before the principle came to the personality was being molded and groomed. What that word, that term that sister used when she was telling you that Rajab had did something? Naya? Anyway, the molding and the fashioning is something that comes into play. Now, when Allah, that physical body, was going through his process of coming to life, there were things that he went through. One of the things was military life. And in the military life, he was given what? Yeah. And go back to the word he used was discipline. And I think the guys will understand it. Somewhere in 1 to 14 it speaks about that kind of answer. Okay. So we see here and understand that this is okay, so with him going through these courses and then coming out of the military, being married to this woman, and we all know the story about him born into the mosque. And in the mosque, there were certain disciplines. And as a man, he embraced those disciplines. And he soldiered those disciplines. Huh? Okay. His word was bound to those disciplines. So now, make a long story short, he leaves the mosque because of certain conditions and things, bylaws and terminology and whatever. And he comes out into the streets of hell, into the ghettos of hell, where there are nothing. See, in the mosque was a very protected, very, very, very protected place. From the time that Master Farad appeared, right up until the day that Allah made his appearance in month number 7, the 7th house of prophets. So, coming out into this savage, cold-hearted world, which he had already known because he himself was a savage before he went into the mosque. It was in the mosque that the message to the black man was given. It was in the mosque, the 7th house of the prophet of Almighty God, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was in his mosque that the message to the black man was given.
Can I look at your camera?
Upon that, old man came out into the streets because it was agreed upon. Wasn't all that thing about you kicked out, this, that, all that miscellaneous. It was agreed upon, like all the time. See, the scientists, they always agreed upon things. Huh? We agreed that there was no what? Mystery God. We agreed. There was an agreement made. Like it or not, there was an agreement made. And it was trillions of years before this agreement was made. So now look at where we are today. Here we are, 45th year of our physical history. He shared about his father. His father's name was Akbars. Though you don't know how she was one of the firstborn of Medina. She was one of the firstborn. Taught by his firstborn. So she is at the root. Is at the root of our family tree. That name bears great pride. Great pride. So when the brother spoke about his father being killed, being taken by another brother, we call him Born, his name was Born God. Not to call him Born God. And the reason this happened, cut dry, cut to the chase, it was because, as the brother said, a brother was taken out of his own self. What is his, what?
Like God.
So a brother was taken out of himself. And in being taken out of himself, he was made a savage in the pursuit of knowledge. By that, he rendered harm, bodily, physical harm on his own brother. And immediately thereafter, I'm sure the brother was remorseful. The brother was saddened to his heart to have known what he had done under the influence of a drink and a drug. Okay? See, when you are not conscious, when you allow yourself to be taken away from yourself, you do things and you say things that later on you will want to take back, but it's like a bullet. It's like a bullet leaving a gun. You can't take it back and fire. Or even find his mark. And there's times when it don't find his mark and hit an innocent what? Bystander. So either way is a savage move. So where I'm going with this is this. When the law came into the streets, people was doing nothing but drinking and drugging. Drinking and drugging been a part of humanity for centuries. Addiction has been a problem on this planet ever since some diabolical scientists found out how to procure things and put things together and give it away. That's what was done. Same thing they did with crack. Matter of fact, way back then it might have been a little alcohol, a little grapes and but they're always doing some scientific, biological, and dynamic checking up. So we've come to the point now where we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at ourselves as a whole, not as a part. We have to look at ourselves as a whole. First thing is, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. That's the first thing. All I'm here to do is share with you my experience, my strength, and my hope. All I'm here to do is give you some suggestions, like suggestions of what to do. A lot used to look at brothers doing certain things and say to them, son, that's no way to have fun. That's no way to have fun, son. And kept it real simple. See, Allah came among a savage and destructive people. They were so destructive that they were killing themselves. Who wasn't killing themselves with guns and the knives, was killing themselves with the drugs and the alcohol. Real simple, real simple. This has been going on for a long time. And it hasn't been until late. His seventh born, I'm gonna break something. But his seventh born, I'm not gonna say his name, I'm just gonna say his seventh born has been blessed for almost 27 years to have been able to look at life from another perspective, from a clearer perspective. See, you either have the choice, let me put it to you this way. You either have the choice of looking at life from a clear, crystal clear view, crystal clear. Clarence, crystal clear. Or you can look at life through some very distorted and perverted views. Now, what distorts and perverts your view? You already mentioned it earlier. I said that Hashim, which is only one out of an abundance of brothers. See, we don't tell these kind of truths on ourselves. How brother killed brother. That's a direct result of his drinking and his drugging. We don't tell the world this kind of truth because, like Hashim said, we in denial. But see, Allah wasn't in denial because Allah knew that we would need help in raising ourselves up from the degradation and the confusion and the chaos that drugs and alcohol bring into any family structure. I'm not telling you that it's an easy thing to do. It's a simple thing. Not easy. Right now. First thing any individual, man, woman, or child, has to do is they first have to admit to themselves that there is a problem. You cannot get help if you don't admit that there's a problem. And that's what's been happening with this family. For decades now, when they killed that brother's father, first thing they did was call themselves setting up security. We're going to put some security together. The brothers going to stand at the door and they're going to make sure that everything's secure. No harm will come out, brothers now. Then what happened? Maybe more brothers. There are brothers who have chosen a better way of life. Amongst this family, this very family, I told you already, last 7 born has 27 years of that family. All praise forever due to Allah. Now, there are other brothers who choose to not want to do themselves any justice. For whatever reasons, and I tell you this drinking and this drugging thing is not easy. It is an addiction. An addiction is a thing that attacks people on how they say it, I freedom, compulsion and what? The need to have one and know that one is too many and 1,000 is never one. Enough. So you're on this constant chase to try to stimulate what you think is yourself. But in truth, you're stimulating a devil. You're stimulating a destructive devil that all he wants to see or she wants to see is the individual dead. Because within the span of you being addicted or any individual being addicted, there are only consequences. There are consequences to your need for this addictive personality, this addictive behavior. There is jails, institutions, and death. It don't necessarily have to come in that order. I'm here to share my experience straight to open. I'm a brother. I put it on me. I keep it on me. I'm a brother that I breathed the same air that Allah breathed. In other words, I stood in a room where if he exhaled, I inhale. And if I inhale, he exhale. Right? So it was that kind of a pocket. And with all that blessing, and with all that, and your brothers that before me, with even greater blessings and greater power, succumb to drinking and drugging to such a level. How many of you know the name Sham God? Universal Sham God. How many of you know the name Kareem? Who they, after a time called Black Messiah. How many of you all know the name? What was the name?
All of them. No. There's none of them missing. Everybody went to that.
All of it that went into the chaotic mission of trying to master a drink and drug. These are great scientists, greater than some of the guys that's bumming out there in the streets right now. I'm talking about some dynamic. If it wasn't for them brothers, what we would be here today. And as a direct result of drinking and drugging, these brothers fell to the wayside. Some of them buried in bodies. Feel! Not even a decent burial. And this is what our young people look at and see. This is why people don't even want to be bothered being around us. That's the truth. Because we've become so vile, even to our own selves, that our own children don't even want to participate in our social equality. What do you call that? You call that insanity. Insanity. For any group of people to think that they're Because we're so distorted, man. Let me tell y'all something. This thing is so painful that it hurts so much that the brothers that's doing the ill and the brothers that standing around know better and watching the ill, justice is coming to everybody. Justice is coming to everybody. Huh? What the 19 degree talk about? Is it there that St. Luke and Ezekiel speaks? Is it in that degree that St. Luke and Ezekiel speaks? What do they talk about? Huh? Ezekiel tells you about what I mean.
Tells you about and that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his own will.
That's St. Luke.
Right. Shall be beat with many stripes.
Yeah, St. Luke.
Right, St. Luke.
Now Ezekiel.
And that servant, all right, Ezekiel.
Ezekiel tells you about the warning.
Right.
They both warnings.
Right.
One tells you about the chastisement of it all. Huh? Yeah.
If you go to Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 20, he said, "But civilized men who make one sin, then all the sins things they could done will never be removed." That was the end result. In the business side. Okay? Because the spirit of God about God's truth.
And look at the beauty of what my brother just
The spirit of
said.
God about God's truth.
Look at the beauty of what my brother said. What is the next guy? What is the next guy?
We're disciple. Okay? The truth about God's truth. That's what the end result
All right,
was.
that's what it is. The willingness, right, to accept, right, the fact that what is, opposed to negating it and not trying to look at it and keep carrying on with the nonsense.
Because
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm telling you that because what happened.
You know, when we come to the
Because what
parliament,
happened, you still got to reveal the truth.
you got those that's responsible for this nation being where we at today, right? That feels like they can lunch or that they can take a break, to hang out across the street at the parliaments and drink and hang out in cars and drug and things of that nature. All of these type of things, God, all of them elements of what's happening with us, God, if you look at us, God, right, the God does the video. And you can see through the videos, if it's consistent enough, the deterioration, how we deteriorate, how each time these videos will show how a lot of us ain't here no more. Through the process of what the God is speaking about. So right now, it's definitely appropriate because a lot of brothers like, yeah, they talking about this drinking and drugging thing, and because they don't have the willingness, right, to accept, you know, or the open-mindedness, you know what I'm saying, God, to see, God, what's really going on, man, with us, man, you know?
Because there's always something that I always listen to the pioneers before me. And what I always hear them say is that they want to pass the baton down. I'm ready to pass the baton down to those who are up underneath me. But what keeps me going is because of the pioneers before me not ready to accept what you just said. You understand? We all have to accept the things that we do. And if we don't accept it, then we can't run around and talk about read this person and read that person. You understand? Let me show you something. In all of the history that I've had in this nation, you cannot find one thing where it says infinite algebra has went out on stage. In any of this, in any of my history in this nation, because I was always against it. I was always against it because there was always a way to deal with a problem that we had. If I couldn't eat, I didn't have to go out and rob somebody when I could go to my brother's house. There was always a way to assess things give it up so I can feel the iniquity that comes behind it. There's an iniquity that you feel when you give up your righteous status of being who you are. And that status that you give up is that I'm not ready to die. I ain't gonna allow you to take my life.
Can I add on for a minute, God? Come back. Yeah. Please, God, man. You know love, God. That's everything. One thing that I love about what was conveyed by the Father and what was grounded by the individuals that came before me is that I'm thankful that we can have the sciences of 120. And the reason why I say I'm thankful for having these signs because, okay, I can look at certain things and I know that, you know, when certain things is broke and we are mechanics, we fix it. You know what I'm saying? So if I utilize these tools, this was given to me, and we fix certain things, but the reason why I'm thankful because everything that's being said here gives me a motive to take an initiative and go out there and fix this. And that's what I love. And I'm younger than y'all. I'm a third generation of this nation, so therefore, if y'all see these things, now it's my duty. Y'all gave me my plan. And blueprints and plan is the foundation of everything which is built upon. Because thank Allah and what y'all did, I was able to get into my 120 and really analyze my 120 and take it for what it's really worth. And not to just be able to I was able to take my 120 and be thankful for what your Father gave me. And I was able to, with my best understanding, really purification without no drugs and alcohol. Understand myself and these lessons and the teachings and the direction that we really want to go into. And what we need to do, myself, like you said, pointing back at myself, what I need to do to make those further steps, I must take these steps and utilize them in a righteous manner. In a righteous manner. I must know and understand that I'm the master. I must have to take my foundation and understanding, which is my clear picture, to build my culture. That's what knowledge and understanding means to me. I can't be a master if I don't take that knowledge, which is the foundation, to be able to see a clarification of my culture, of I, God, which gave me the freedom to do these things. The freedom was the freedom of mind, the mentality. So I thank you. I thank you from the heart. So now I know what I got to do. And if death comes upon me about doing my justice, I'm ready to go back right now. Y'all can bury me right here. Because I got to go out there. I got to go out there and save these people. I got to do my duty. And I don't care about the president. I don't care about Washington, D.C. I don't care about their military. I'll get in their copters. I'll get in their tanks and bring it to the nation and God to the earth. And we destroy this devil there. Because he's the only one causing confusion. Why isn't he settled on the best part of the planet Earth? Because the earth belongs to the original black man. Because he's what? The maker, the owner, the cream. I'm the cream. Because y'all gave me this. Y'all gave me this. And that's what I love about it. So everything that y'all said and that y'all seen, now it's imperative of me to put some footwork in. So all that was the plan that was given to me. Yo, look, God, look what you gotta do. Because you already laid the plans out. Jamel God and the God Al-Jamal. Y'all laid this plan out for me, man. And I thank y'all. And I thank y'all.
Peace. My name is Akbars Allah. Peace to God. You know, like God Jamela, divine education, and Al-Jamal, you know, Hashim, you know, we brought up some good points. But the answer is in the question. The answer is in the question. The answer is What is the duty of a civilized person? Teach you the savage civilization, righteousness, knowledge of himself, the science of everything in life. It appears as if we have come full circle. You know, we've come to a point where we need to go back to the foundation. You see, because it starts, right, with the supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet. You understand? It starts with us being accountable, right? Wisdom Cycle degree says that you that said person when you say you are, right? So that means that you have to be accountable to someone. Meaning, if you standing outside and you doing something contrary to what we do in the nation, then it's up to us to come to you and ask you, especially when you high as you could possibly get, and say, yo, God, how do you see today's degree? Oh, you don't know? Oh, you don't know? Okay, you don't know? All right, well, go home, right? Get sober. Get uninebriated. Get out of that state. Flush your system. Fast. Come on back to the next parliament.
Don't forget pray.
And pray. Right? Go on fast and come on back and talk to us again. You see, because the foundation of what the Father taught us was self-forsaken. That we're responsible for ourselves, yet and still we're responsible for our brothers. So what we have to do first and foremost is we have to clean ourselves up from the inside. That's the job. We clean ourselves up from the inside. See, it didn't start with Yaakov. It didn't start with that. See, it started, right? And it was made manifest with Noah. Because Noah's sons said, let us see our father's nakedness. Right? It also goes on, because it says who made the whole Quran a Bible, right? It also goes on to say that strong drink is a mockery. It tells you that there are two trees. There's the tree of good and the tree of evil. It says that if you eat of the tree of evil, there's nothing but death and destruction that's going to come from it. Right? But if you eat of the tree of good, there's nothing but peace and prosperity. So it starts back with, how do you see today's mathematics, God? What lesson are you dealing with, God? Where you from, God? What's your attribute, God? What that born, God? That's where it starts.
What's your name?
With the foundation. What's your name? You know, yeah.
Say it right. Everything is right on track with us.
Right.
Our flag says the name of.
Right, the name of, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, what's your name? You know,
Yeah, that's right.
we have to start with being accountable. You come in, listen. When I got knowledge of self, right? I was knowledge acquired 2 years old, right? The brother that gave me knowledge of self told me the lessons verbally. I had to go home. I had to write it down. I had to come back and tell him how I mastered that lesson, what my understanding was. Right? Then he would give me the next lesson, and the next lesson, and the next lesson. And I couldn't wear the universal flag until I knew 120. So what that told me was, if you had a universal flag on, you knew 120. Right? My thing is that we are allowing ourselves, and when I say we, I'm talking about all inclusive. We are allowing ourselves to become lax in our ability to be self-sustaining. You understand? The drug aspect is only because we don't hold each other accountable to an even higher authority. We don't hold ourselves accountable, and we don't teach a man that if you continue to do these things, that the only thing that's going to come is that you're destroying yourself. Right? Elijah said there's going to come a day when there's going to be no more need for churches and temples. Right? That man is going to be able to find the God in himself. So in order to be able to find a God in yourself, you got to first go inside and do the work on yourself.
That's right.
And if a brother's not doing the work on himself, Ezekiel talk about you got to warn him. And then St. Luke talk about if you don't warn him, both of y'all got a problem. Right? And then the Wisdom Cipher degree says that it's your duty, but it starts and it ends with you. So I let a man go party, right? And he my brother. This is my brother, yo, peace, God, boom, boom, boom. I know you from, how knowledge since, whatever. And I say, all right, God, well, how you see today's mathematics? And he can't tell me. Then I got one or two choices. I can either teach him, which is the right choice. That's the right choice, right? Or I can run from amongst me.
Wow.
And allow him.
Wow.
And allow him.
Why?
Why would I run him from? If he's a baby, if he's new, and he tell me this got knowledge like last week, I'll teach him. But if he's been here like 1,000 years, if he said, yo, I broke bread with the farm and and you can't tell me today's degree.
See, but this is the thing.
Then we got a problem, dog. And the problem is that we are not setting rules and regulations that are standard to governing to people that say they are part of this nation. We have to be able to question each other. We have to be able to hold each other's back. We have to be able to make sure that each one of us is becoming civilized. We have to be able to make sure that each one of us is not falling by the wayside so that we don't have any more instances like what's happened with his brother or what happened with Jamal Garner. And listen, like I said, I've been here since I was knowledge equality. Right? I watched it. I seen it. I've been through it. Only thing I'm saying is that, man, in order for us, man, to move forward, we got to find out where it's broken. And it's broken in the foundation. It's broken in the foundation because we not building, man. We not building.
I'm Dr. Floyd, right? A book named Medina wrote a lesson called Akbars. He said, all kinds of things the all kinds of problems. Then we've been so problem. Woman makes our problem. Why do we problem overnight? Then we problem overnight. Okay? So if that problem exists, it exists in you. Okay? If you don't mind but just like when I look at things from a God perspective, the enemy can happen. Enemy can come in your cycle and take over. But if you look at it from a God perspective, that's not when they come here. That's not when they come here. A lot of them never reach the stage of God. A lot of them reach the stage of all law. How can you put someone there that's not qualified to carry that position? You understand what I'm saying? And you got to give it to an individual in a pure form. You can't dilute it. You understand because he's my man. Okay? If he's wrong, then you just call it like it is. You call it like it is. That's not God. That's not God. And you can't come about my baby like that. Saying that you me, and I know that you not me. Because you know what? Because that's not the nature of the characteristics of God. That's the nature of the characteristics of God. There's only two people, God and devil. Okay? And you ain't God, and you got to be the devil. Okay? In order for you to understand what you see, you got to destroy the devil's civilization. Because if you don't do the devil's civilization, then you're going to always go bigger to the devil. Why? Because these things are making to be disposable. Okay? We have the right to do that. We got to eliminate that. If you look at what's going on with you, you ain't got to worry about that. You ain't got to worry about that. Because we start teaching. We start teaching. Anything comes in your house. Huh? You just want to come to your house and build in your bedroom? Do you? book. Then we know it's not acceptable. Come on, this ain't no new knowledge. This ain't no new knowledge. Look at the hiccup in the reveal. Okay? The hiccup came from the brother who came before you. Did they? And they laid his down to you. They laid their his down and turned around and brought a book to their own science. Because they told you don't drink. They told you don't smoke. Didn't they? Huh? They said the law said don't smoke, don't drink, and don't do no drugs. Didn't they? And then they turned around and did what? Did the same thing. So they wouldn't come into their own stuff. That ain't my fault. That you brother Victor. Now, you born enough that I got the fault. Because I'm the God. Okay? I'm the one that's going to uplift you. Who's going to carry away the universe? Who's carrying the weight? The earth. The God. Literally. When God came out and there was no God around it, who held it up? The one that came every day? The one who caused the color? Huh? We went to an epidemic. We went to a crack epidemic. We went to a hammer epidemic. We went to a motherfucking methadone epidemic. Huh? Huh? And we still came back. It's still something to do. We walked out the way and kept moving. And that's what you got to do today. Come on with this emotion thing, man. We got to go off this emotion trip. So we on some emotion therapy, so sensitive. Oh, I want to hurt your feelings. I want you to hurt my feelings. Come on, man. God's not a physical thing. God's a universal thing. Okay? God's a universal thing. So if you know that God's a universal thing, let's do it like God supposed to do. And then we ain't got to worry about all these nonsense.
What are you supposed to do? What we got to do?
Huh? What you got to do, you got to be you. You got to be you. I grew up with Born Supreme. All my life I watched them like kids. You understand? All they do now is drink. All they do now is go to 44 car. I said, God, come on, that's not me.
But that's not what you're talking about. What you're talking about, right, y'all, is what is your suggestion, right? We're in the state that we're at now, you know, with the current events of things that took place. Listen, God, listen to my question, God. All right? Because I need to know, you know what I'm saying, where your mindset is at with regard to putting this state back together. Like you said, you ain't gonna let nobody come change them, your family around or whatever, right? Okay, but ours has been changed around, all kinds of things. Ours, right?
Yeah,
this is a we thing right here. All right, God, so now, to put it back, right, the way that, you know, a law came to make it, right? Right? Because, and this is the problem too. People came to try to change what he they manifested. That was the problem from the beginning, like you said, right? But my thing is, right, what do you suggest, y'all, that we do? Because all this philosophy talking thing that we're doing right now, we need to come to a conclusion, an agreement, like, you know what I mean, right here. And then from right here, we can bring it to headquarters and implement what needs to be done, y'all.
Okay. You know, executive is number one. That's what it is.
All right, so
hold on. My name is Queen Ajamine, okay? And the way I feel, and I've been saying this for the longest, I don't care if I knew you for 50 years. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. But you don't supposed to take sides. If this your man for 20 years, then you want to stay neutral to bullshit. To born you love, say beyond truth. If you're wrong, no matter who you are. It ain't no bigger person, because you could come to me and I say something, and then this one say, well, I'm going to stay neutral because he's my man. No, you're supposed to have law and order like Finn said. Back in the days, if you was wrong, and you was real wrong, you got exiled. There wasn't no talking, and everything is, you don't even have rules and regulations. We used to vote on certain things. It was brought to the floor. Not no more. You got secret meetings. I'm going to tell you how I feel.
Hey, Queen, listen, peace. about, you know what I'm saying, what us as a nation, right? This is continuity here, right? If anything negative comes, try to get in this cycle right now, what's gonna happen is it's gonna boot itself out. Okay? We don't need to agree on that. You feel what I'm saying? Because it can't exist in the energy that we manifest. Alright? So my point is this.
Stay positive.
Listen, Wayne, my point is this. I'm addressing the God, and this is a God cycle divine thing, not to exclude none of the queens, you know what I'm saying? But you here to support your God, and I respect that. I'm speaking to God. I'm speaking to God because I need to know from God, not from the emotional point of view. I need to know from the point of view of where all minds is one, and that, listen, God, and that God, we as being, you understand, God, the hands, you understand, the sons of man, you understand, and being responsible for the direction that this nation needs to go in. What do we need to do, God? Because there's been a lot of different things with individuals that's here that's been occurring. And so now, through the different encounters of different brothers going through what they've been going through or whatever, among so many other things, because I know we just want to get to that. What happened to Al Jamal? What happened with Bushan? What happened? You know what I'm saying? God, what is the solution?
Okay.
What is the solution to stop that?
Come to church. Let's come to church.
Huh?
Let's bring it back to mathematics.
Yeah.
Let's bring it. See, God, everything goes forward. Remember, it said that we were in search of a mystery God for trillions of years. That is not a small thing. We ain't gonna have to go through trillions of years for that. God told us before He left, everything got to come back to the knowledge. Everything. Here we go. Let's go back to the knowledge. I sat here just a minute ago and I'm looking at mathematics. From a child, I always loved playing with numbers. Once I learned mathematics, man, I woke up in the day and looked at the days mathematics and I took it through. That was the science for me. We're in the 13th day. We're in the 13th day of the month of what they call divine equality, C, equality, master of all, equality rule. 7 days, hence this day, we will have divine equality, okay, now, here we go. We all know and understand that there is a problem. We can't let that agree. We can't that there is a problem. Now,
did we come to the agreement what the problem was?
yeah,
Did we?
I think we did.
Okay, let's go.
Wait, listen.
Let's go.
We all know and understand that brothers who are not consciously aware of themselves. See, because the brothers that's conscious ain't called to know what? A problem. Huh? The culture degree in 1 to 14 tells you what confusion and chaos brought about. And it tells you what they had to do to bring about some kind of agreement. Now, brothers got to understand, first of all, you got to understand, if brothers gonna come around us, and we allow brothers to come around us, under the influence of something that is outside of themselves,
We can't all agree. We can't come together and all agree. That can't happen, right? Right or wrong, God? Can brothers watch us that under influence, and we come to an agreement about something? Can we really all agree?
all is water don't mix.
You feel what I'm saying, Almighty? We can't all agree, right? All right, so come on.
All is water don't
We
mix.
want to take this thing in steps. Because, see, what happens is we skipping steps. That's what the fuck is going on.
Let me add one to that.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that when we fall, so I want to go back to what my chief said. He said, this is a God problem. This is a God problem. This is a God problem because the earth ain't got this problem.
Exactly.
So in order for us to understand the problem that we're going to, maybe we need to look at the way the earths are conducting themselves when they come to the rally. They already know how to act at home and abroad. They're familiar with how to keep a home. We gotta learn these things. We need to watch them, the way they conduct themselves when they come in there. It's right and exact. Maybe we need to look at this. I did a thing up at our law school. I took all the guards off the bills. I put all earths on those bills. Those bills were paid every month on time and kept a zero balance. They would come in there every day, walk through the school, nobody in this room, light goes out. Nobody in this room, light goes out. They already understood these things. We gave it back to the guards. Them bills shot up like that. Lights are on 24/7 up there. So maybe what we need to do, if you want the knowledge, the understanding, you better put the wisdom in there somewhere. This is the way we function. We function half-mast. We cut half our power and leave it at home. The brothers that sit across that street, stand in front of the school and watch how many earths sit across there. That's Allah's bar and grill, not the earth's bar and grill. The earth don't have one. They know how to conduct themselves when they come around us. We have the problem. So yes, it is a God problem. Maybe what we need to do is sit back and learn how to act at home and abroad. Some things you do at home, some things you do abroad. You don't mix the two together. When you mix the two together, you have a problem. What is your own self? Part of the problem that we have is not just the illegal drugs that we're using. We have a saying that 75% of people that come to that rally is on medication. So now they mix in two types of drugs, psychotropic and illegal drugs. So they're really off balance. Now, the part that we see is the drinking and the drugging part, but we don't see that medication that they're taking before they even get there. Now they're topping it off through cocktails. Now they're throwing a cocktail coming amongst us, bringing this around our children. That's the part we don't need. How we correct it? The God hit it on the head. When we were young, we wouldn't come outside and let what we knew them to breathe. You didn't come outside intoxicated. The only intoxicant you had was 120 degrees. We used to sit around and wait for an intoxicated brother to come. Yeah, how you see today is degree, God. We were the young guards running up on the older guards. Because we didn't want to go that way. I belonged to a team of guards. We didn't deal with simulation. Because we knew what our task was. We running out of the street, running up on brothers. We did this every day.
Dog, listen, I was getting blasted. I beg to differ. When I was
No, I said my team of guards.
Oh, all right.
No guards.
I was twisted.
We dealt with wolves. We went in the library every day. We spent our Saturdays going from Medina to Jamaica Avenue where the guards was dealing with
I
science.
need to come see y'all.
But we were able to just sit down at a desk and go through some history, learn some things. The main thing that we had was one brother that didn't deal with intoxicants. And he would manifest that to us. No, y'all want to roll with me? You can't roll like that. That's not the way I live. So then we started picking up on that. This is the same thing we have. We cannot start to believe that we are more bad than good. We're not. We're not. It's just that, as God said, the good will sit back and let the bad run wild. Chaos and confusion are gods. They are gods. Now, if you let them rule over your cipher, they will rule over your cipher. We can't let that happen. We have to come in there, no, God, yeah, you smell kind of interesting, God. How you see today's degree? I had the God ask me a question about some money in the last round. He was confused over what I give him. And then I'm smelling liquor on his breath. And I told God right off the bat, God, when we deal with nation vengeance, we do not deal with intoxicants. That causes confusion. You don't remember what I gave you. I remember what I gave you. I set up something called condition reflex. This is what we need for the rally. We need brothers to condition themselves to come a certain way. Come to the rally a certain way. And it starts before we even leave off the block.
That's peace.
You intoxicant, dog, you ain't coming with us, y'all. You ain't coming with us. And that's how we saw it by asking them.
And that's right, God, by being repetitive with that. That's right.
Indeed.
All the time. And that's good. And that's it right there, God. Word is bond, God. Because, right, the bottom line is, it's been a major problem with us for years. It's just now we getting tired of it. See, with that type of cycle, you know, you had fun in the beginning. That's why I said, no, I made a difference. Because I was running around twisting. I was having fun. You know what I'm saying? But when I got to the end of the road, I was in pain and I was suffering. And I was behind bars. You hear me, God? And so now, I'm like, yo, something got to change with me as an individual. I'm keeping it on the eye, right? Because the individual is what manifests the nation, y'all. The man. You feel what I'm saying, God?
We had a rally, you said something to me. I'm standing around 6 other guards. You said something, you said, God, what we see ain't what we think we see. That problem goes further beyond the door. There's another problem that's in there that we're not really seeing, and we don't know what it is. We need to be able to find out what that problem is. Then the guard walked away. All 5 guards said, who was that? Who was that? I said, yeah, nice improvement, isn't it? So sometimes all we need is a good glass, a clean glass around. And then we start thinking about it.
Good organization.
Indeed, then we start thinking about it.
You know, there's a saying in the place where I visited. I got a lot of good things out. And I know my father would have been so proud to be today. Because he always said, you know, there's come a time when we have to stop doing some of the things and wrongful things that we've done. I've shared here many times before that he called his very first and beloved one savage, you know, because they were doing things contrary to what they were doing. So we've come to the point now where we got to know and understand that we just can't continue to do wrong. Look, there's no right way to do the wrong thing. That's a saying.
Thank you.
There's no wrong way to do it. There's no saying. Right is right. And wrong is wrong. Who is already decreed? God. Right? We got 7 days. We're going into Mecca. There were 2-3 meetings supposed to be held in Mecca and haven't been held yet, right? Any meetings held yet?
Every time
I say that, knowing that 7 days henceforth, from the 13th day, which is knowledge and understanding, which is the masterful degree. Has everybody signed this book? The page here? Everybody put a name to the right? I'm asking, did you sign, my brother? You signed, like you said, everybody? If everybody's in agreement that they did put a name to the paper, see a lot, you the last one to sign, my brother. Yes. And you signed it under the degree of wisdom and understanding. Right? See Allah. See, I told you I like to play with the numbers. Huh? Whatever's scripted, I look at it, I examine it, and I draw it up.
What mathematics you got by Chanel law, dog?
All I'm trying to do is come to an agreement. So we have wisdom and understanding agree. We see Allah. Okay? So we see Allah because knowledge, understanding, which is today, hence 7 days from today, is wisdom and insight.
Hold on, God. In order for us to understand these mathematics and alphabets, right, the way we need to, we gotta have a clear conscience. We gotta be clear. We can't be stimulated,
I'm
God.
getting ready to go to that. Here we
Right,
go.
God? And that's where the problem. People think they can be any kind of state, form of fashion mentally and spiritually, and nothing spooky. Don't get it twisted.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? But you got to be stable in them departments to digest the information that we putting out as a lost son, all right? God. How we used to say renews. We have to renew, God. You understand, God, the way that we implement these teachings, God. Because if we don't, then the same old things that's been used. You feel me, God? After Sister Father left, which is what you said, Jamal, our brothers, as soon as Daddy left, the father did this, the father did that, but they didn't say what you said. Do as I say, not as I do. And then them same individuals ain't here. And those are my uncles, and I love them dearly. But I know in the hearts and souls of them that they would love to see, right, God, where we could be right now. If only they could still be here that they knew when they was here. You understand? So we can't, like, all right, with Shaheem, he left. You got brothers really following the path and go out just like he went out. What kind of insanity is that? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm staying on the chalk piece so we don't get it twisted, right? Because there's no none of that in order to grow and develop properly the way that we need to, with what agreements that we come to with God on what we need to do, what you say, God. We need to be repetitive with this, God. You come in, God, you drinking or whatever, God. We have to devise a new degree of security now. It ain't just at the doors, all this stuff. Even though it's always really been that way, but I'm getting more insightful with it, right, God? Because the good is allowing the bad to exist. So we just as wrong. You know what I'm saying? And standing around acting like you holy and then die. Ain't none of us holy and now we all one. We God. And how we help each other is to remind each other without parallel. Right, God? That God, what we do is doing is not especially here. We're not telling you what to do. Just don't bring it here. You know what I'm saying, God? Just don't bring it to the cycle. So it's not going to be conducive to what we're trying to do, God. It's not going to add up. The bullshit.
You finish that?
Yeah, the bullshit.
The cancer out. That's what you say.
That's
Because the only around that cancer, the worse the cancer
Spread.
That's what we're talking about now. Time to cut
But
the
listen,
cancer
even with you
out.
and the God, if you or the God wasn't dealing with no food alternate substances, guess what? That wouldn't happen.
I got news for you. We wasn't. I was on my way to it.
You was on your way to the thought alone.
We saw, through prayer and meditation.
But it would have happened in contact
With God, as we understood it. For those who pray,
Everybody ain't gonna like everybody. Everybody ain't gonna like everybody. I don't care how much you get it together, God.
listen. Like we said earlier, this thing is not personal.
Thank you.
This thing is not personal. This thing,
Oh, you said that.
My name is Understanding God.
hey, God.
You know, we can sit here and we can build about this situation all day. But the fact of the matter, when we knowledge and understanding, and culture frees us from this, what happens, my brothers? And the earth is included. Because a nation of men, that's a nation don't exist without the wisdom. Without the wisdom, there's no equality that we can deal equal with. But what we got to do is we got to stop talking about it. We have a duty. We have a responsibility. I'm talking about a responsibility to not continue to talk. We have a responsibility to look. God said, don't come here with that. And we need just like be one of us. We all got to stand as one.
That's right. And we got to
That's all the laws here.
That's right.
We're talking about being one in the same, one and forever separate. Don't allow no man, even if he try to identify himself as self, to separate us. We cannot allow this to happen. You know, we can't continue to like say we need to do this and we need to do that. We need to do this. What happens is we got to put it into operation. We got to stop talking and start doing. It's like if we know what the problem is and it's a security threat, then the God that's sitting here talking about it needs to be the security.
did.
When he said, son, you don't do this, it's because he didn't do it. It's because he didn't do it. It wasn't something that he said. He didn't. I always used to say, back in the 70s, this is not a thing about show and tell. This is a thing about show and prove.
That's right, brother. That's right, my brother.
I'm talking about the proof has to be living. It has to be active.
Got to be in the pudding.
That's it. So, you know, if you're talking about knowing and understanding the culture, your culture I'm talking about, your Islam, your self-Lord and you the master of, then you got to begin to let everybody see this Islam. And I'm talking about not outside there, inside, right here in the nation. We got to see each other safe and secure. We got to be universal builders from the inside out. So that the world out there can be to come into our parliament and be safe and learn how to live as civilized people.
Big. So I think the important thing right now for us, the time we have among ourselves here, is to come up with some constructive methods of how to enter into Mecca on the wisdom and disciple. In other words, see, we in Medina right now. This is Medina. This is Medina. And Medina will forever be Medina. When you go across that bridge and you enter into what they call Mecca, you are in Mecca. And Mecca will forever be Mecca. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad knew that. Our brother Malcolm knew that. The father definitely knew that. And I always have to say that I don't separate things. When I speak about Mecca and Medina, to me that's the M&M. That's the M&M. Without the peanuts? That's the M&M. That's that milk chocolate. Mecca and Medina, the knowledge and the wisdom was founded on one aspect of life. So when we go into Mecca, this is a we thing. They have been trying to make it a I thing and a me thing for a long time. But it's always been a we thing. This is what Allah gave us. He brought us together to show that what I can't do alone, we can do together. And we have to be conscious. Remember this now, consciousness. The first degree in the student enrollment gives you consciousness.
Passing the bucket around.
Who is the original man? We have to go into Mecca on a set of principles, not personality. The principle is, brothers are doing harm to each other. And that is not acceptable. It is not acceptable according to the prescribed law of Islam.
Again, hurt people,
and listen again.
Listen, God, if you hurting yourself, God, right, God, you're gonna hurt people, God. That's it. The bottom line is you gotta stop hurting yourself. All right, God? That's where you gotta touch. You can't go to a hurt man and tell him not to hurt another. He's gonna hurt his ball. Yeah, that's the bottom line, God. So what you're saying, God, is valid, but there's some things, God, there's some things there that we need to touch on, such as where I cut you off. We gotta show each other how to love ourselves. We have to love each other, right, God, until we can individually love ourselves, right? Right?
Before you love each other, you got to love yourself first, God.
Exactly.
You got to do that first. That comes within.
All right, so this is what we got to put in each other.
But if it don't come within, you can't love your brother, you can't love your sister.
Exactly, sister, that's my point.
It got to come within first. And then only
If you're not
that.
conscious, how can you love yourself?
Exactly.
I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something. Pardon me for a second, pardon me. My name is Joaquin Balaga. A lot of brothers don't even have hospitality. Hospitality. A lot of brothers ain't even got respect for themselves. So they ain't gonna give respect to nobody else.
Exactly. That's
You know
what
what
I'm saying.
A lot of brothers achieve certain status quotes and they think they bigger than the nation.
But it's only one man. It's only one man.
You understand what I'm saying? A lot of niggas get souped up because they think they bigger than this. So they forget the brotherhood. They forget who taught them. They forget who was around here. You understand what I'm saying? That's the #1 problem up to this day. The reason why we got a lot of these so-called gang dudes out here, because the #1 thing we did in the 80s, we stopped. And that was building constantly. There was not a corner that was not missing, that the guards was not there. We had every community locked. Yo, let me explain something to you. You know how much power we got? We got so much power that all of us could have been assemblymen, councilmen, in different communities. We could have been had us locked out. During the early 80s, we let that slip away.
The devil knew what he was doing. That's why he put the drugs there. That's why he put the drugs there. The devil knew what he was doing.
Yeah, but it's okay. You heard what the brother just said about 80. Let's go back to the conscious concept. Wait, let's go back to the conscious concept. And I'm gonna keep it on me. I'm gonna keep it on me. That black seed right there. That black seed right there, right? Saw me years after I was on a sabbatical. But what it really happened was, see what you just talked about? See the powers that be from the 60s knew and understood that they couldn't allow for us to get so far on the planet Earth. They knew this. They knew. So what did they do? They manipulated things. Why do you think it was so easy for us as the gods to get any form of substance from us? They used to come and give us kilos of heroin, cocaine, marijuana, anything we wanted, they will give it to us under consignment. That's how consignment came into being. They would give it to us and we would pay them later. That was the game. And I played that game for a number of years. And there were a lot of brothers that played that game.
I know that.
Some brothers that didn't play the drug game, played the pimping and the hoeing game.
Yes, sir.
Some of the brothers that didn't play the pimping and the hoeing game, played the numbers game. But we was all playing some form of game.
That's right.
And as a direct result of that, we are now here where we are at today. And what I'm trying to tell all of you all, and I'm telling you all, 120 didn't spare my life. I'm telling you, 120 degrees did not stop me from drinking and drugging.
You wanted to do it.
It wasn't just that I wanted to.
He wasn't doing that.
I stopped on April Fool's Day, 1990. Next year, April Fool's Day, I will have 20 calendar years of not drinking or drugging. I haven't missed a heartbeat. I don't say that for accolades. I say that to let my brothers that are suffering the way I suffer. And I'm telling y'all, I suffer, man. I suffer, man. I think it's a joke. I suffer. I had a nigga cut me. Because I was so savage in the pursuit of happiness. I kept stealing people's drugs and messing up their money and doing what I was doing. And kept doing it, kept doing it. Thinking boy, took a ratchet one time and came at me. The only reason I threw my arm up because I felt he was either going to try to cut me across the face or cut me across my throat. I threw my arm up and cut 3 layers of muscles. 3 layers of muscles and the tentacle to my pinky. See how my pinky sits? Huh? That's what he did. Twins did it. Twins. This was another time. And the reason they was doing it is because they said, boy, we can't kill you because our mother loves you. We got to do something to show you that you can't keep doing what you wanted to. Another time, some crazy ass nigga, I'm in the basement running a reefer business for Dread. 4-7. Crazy Jamaican, jealous and envious of me and my ability to do what I'm doing with the Dreads. Takes a 357 Magnum and stands way in the back and calls my name. And when I turned around, something said, move. When I moved, the fragments from the book. 357 Magnum. Shit, you know 357 Magnum. You know what that is. The fragments. You hear? So, when I talk about